before the day fully begins, before your phone fills up with messages, before your mind starts running in 10 directions at once, take one quiet moment here. Not to figure everything out, not to force yourself to feel strong, but to breathe, to settle, to let your soul catch up with your body. Some mornings do not begin with peace, they begin with pressure. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, something already feels heavy. A conversation you are not ready for, a bill you keep thinking about, a decision sitting in the back of your mind, a tiredness that sleep did not fix. And sometimes the hardest part is not the problem itself. It is how quickly fear starts talking, how fast your thoughts begin to tell you what could go wrong, how easy it is to carry yesterday into today without even noticing. That is why we need this moment. Not because life is simple, but because when the mind is crowded, the heart needs somewhere steady to stand. Today, we are not starting with panic. We are not starting with worst-case scenarios. We are not starting with everything that feels uncertain. We are starting with the Word of God. We are starting with Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? That verse does not pretend life is easy. It does not deny darkness exists. It gives you something stronger than darkness. It reminds you that fear may speak, but fear does not get the final word. Maybe what has worn you down lately is not one big crisis. Maybe it is the slow build-up. Too many responsibilities. Too many private worries. Too many moments of holding yourself together for everyone else. And when you live like that long enough, even small things begin to feel heavier than they should. A delay feels personal. A quiet house feels lonely. A normal problem feels like proof that something is falling apart. But maybe this morning is not asking you to carry more. Maybe it is asking you to return to what is still true, even when your emotions are loud. To return to the God who does not panic when you do. You may not know how everything will unfold today. You may not have clarity yet. You may still be walking through something that has no quick answer. But you do not need full control to have real peace. You just need a place to stand, and this prayer is that place. So if your mind feels restless, stay here. If your heart feels tired, stay here. If you have been carrying something quietly and smiling through it, stay here. You do not have to prove anything in this moment. You do not have to come polished. You do not have to push your fear away before you pray. Just come honestly. Because Psalm 27 is not only for people who already feel strong, it is for people who need light. It is for people who need courage again. It is for people who are trying to keep going while something inside them feels shaken. And maybe that is where you are today. So for the next few moments, let the noise wait. Let the pressure slow down. Let the voice of fear move to the background. This is not about pretending nothing hurts. It is about remembering that pain is not the center. God is. And when He is your light, you do not need to see the whole road to take the next step. When He is your salvation, you do not need to live at the mercy of fear. When He is your stronghold, you are not as unprotected as you feel. So stay with me. Let this prayer steady your breathing, steady your thoughts, steady your heart. We are not rushing into this day alone. We are walking into it with God. And that changes everything. Before we go any further, I want to gently ask you to do something. If there is someone in your life who has been carrying a lot lately, someone who sounds normal on the outside, but you can feel they are tired, send this prayer to them. Sometimes people do not need a long conversation first thing in the morning. They do not need advice right away. They just need something steady to hold on to before the day asks too much from them. Maybe this prayer is not only for you. Maybe it is also for the person who has been trying to stay strong while quietly running on empty. And if this moment is already helping you slow down, you can also take a second to like this video. Not as a small online habit, but as a simple way of helping this prayer reach someone else who woke up heavy today and almost kept scrolling. You never really know what kind of morning another person is having. Some people are smiling and already exhausted. Some are working, parenting, worrying, holding back tears, all before breakfast. So even a small action can become part of how comfort finds someone. That matters. And if you feel comfortable, write this in the comments. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Or simply, I will not fear today. Not because typing words solves everything, but because sometimes the heart needs help catching up to what the soul already knows. There are mornings when fear speaks first, before faith feels strong, before peace feels real. And in moments like that, a simple sentence can become a way of returning, not returning to a perfect mood, but returning to truth.
And if these prayers are becoming part of your mornings, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay with this community. Not because you need more content, but because some seasons of life require daily reminders, daily covering, daily moments to pause before the noise gets too loud again. You do not have to walk into every morning carrying everything by yourself. Sometimes what helps most is knowing there is a place you can come back to, again and again, to steady your mind and bring your heart back to God. So if that is what you need in this season, stay close. Come back tomorrow. Let this become one quiet part of your morning that helps you breathe a little deeper and face the day a little lighter. Now take a breath. Set down whatever has been racing through your mind, and let's pray.
Heavenly Father, before I say anything else, I just want to pause here with you. This morning did not begin perfectly. My mind was already moving before my body caught up. There were thoughts waiting for me the moment I woke up. Things I need to handle, things I'm not sure how to handle, and a quiet pressure I cannot fully explain. But I am here now, not because everything is clear, but because I need a place to be honest. Thank you for this new day. Not just as another routine, but as a chance to begin again, even if I still feel tired. Thank you that I woke up, that my body is still carrying me. That breath is still steady in my chest, even if my heart feels a little heavy. I did not earn this moment. I did not plan every detail of it, and maybe I take that for granted more than I realize. But today I choose to notice it. Not everything is working in my life right now, but something is still holding me together. And maybe that is grace, quiet, consistent, easy to miss. So I slow down. I acknowledge it. I receive it. Even if I do not feel strong, I am still here. And that matters, Lord, your word says. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And if I am honest, fear still shows up. It shows up in small ways, in overthinking simple decisions, in imagining outcomes that have not even happened, in the way my body tenses when I think about what today might bring. Sometimes it is not loud. Sometimes it is just a quiet uneasiness that follows me through the day. But maybe fear is not the problem by itself. Maybe the real question is what I choose to stand on when fear appears. Because fear speaks, but it does not have to lead. So today, I come back to this truth. You are my light, not a distant light, not something I have to chase, but a steady presence that helps me see one step at a time. I may not see the whole path, but I do not need to. I just need enough light for the next step. And you are that. You are my salvation. Not only in the big, eternal sense, but in the small, daily moments when I feel stuck, unsure, or overwhelmed. You are the one who pulls me out of the spiral of my own thoughts. The one who steadies me when everything inside feels unsteady. And you are my stronghold. Not a place where I hide from life, but a place where I can stand, without constantly bracing for impact. So today, I do not pretend fear is gone, but I choose not to build my day around it. I will not let it decide my attitude. I will not let it control my pace. I will not let it speak louder than your truth. I may still feel uncertain, but I am not unprotected. I may still have questions, but I am not without direction, and I may not feel fully ready. But I am not walking into this day alone. So I take a breath here, not to escape my responsibilities, but to reset where I stand. You are my light. You are my salvation. You are my stronghold. And that is enough for this moment. Lord, there are things I am still holding on to, not because I want to, but because I do not know how to put them down. Worries that follow me from yesterday into today. Thoughts that keep circling, even when I try to ignore them. Questions that do not have clear answers yet. Sometimes I tell myself I will deal with it later, but it does not really leave. It just waits, and shows up again in quiet moments. And maybe the weight is not only what I am facing, maybe it is how long I have been carrying it alone. So right here I bring it to you, not as something I have already figured out, but as something I am still struggling with. The fear I have not said out loud, the pressure I keep pushing through, the tension in my chest when I think about what could go wrong. I lay it down.
Not because everything is suddenly fixed, but because I am not meant to hold it all by myself. Maybe surrender is not giving up. Maybe it is choosing not to carry what is slowly draining me. So I release what I cannot control. I release the outcomes I keep trying to predict. I release the need to have everything settled before I feel peace. I do not have to solve everything this morning. I just need to stop carrying it alone. And that is enough for now. Lord,
As I step into this day, I ask you to meet me in the small places. Not just in big decisions, but in the quiet moments most people never notice. Be in my thoughts.
because sometimes my mind moves faster than my faith. I jump to conclusions. I replay conversations. I imagine problems that have not even happened yet. Help me slow that down, not by forcing myself to think positively, but by returning to what is true. Let my thoughts become a place of clarity, not a place of constant pressure. Be in my words. Because I know how easy it is to speak from stress, to answer quickly, to react instead of respond, to say things I do not really mean just because I feel overwhelmed. Help me pause before I speak. Let my words carry patience, even when I feel rushed. Let them carry kindness, even when I feel tired. Not perfect words, just honest and steady ones. And be in my actions, because some days I move through tasks without really being present, just trying to get through everything. But maybe today is not about doing more. Maybe it is about doing what matters with a steadier heart. Guide my steps in the decisions that feel small, in the moments that feel ordinary, in the places where I usually rely only on myself. I do not need to have the whole day figured out. I just need to walk through it with you. Thought by thought, word by word, step by step.
And that is enough.
Lord, I bring my family before you today. The people I love. The people I think about even when I try not to worry. The people whose names can calm me one moment and burden my heart the next.
Because love can feel heavy sometimes. It is hard to carry concern for people you cannot fully protect. It is hard to watch someone struggle when you do not know how to help. It is hard when there is distance in the home, tension in a conversation, or silence where there used to be ease. Some pain does not come from strangers. It comes from the people closest to us, and maybe that is why it cuts deeper. So today, I place my family in your hands. Not because I have stopped caring, but because love was never meant to become control. I cannot be everywhere. I cannot fix every mood, every conflict, every hidden burden. I cannot carry everyone's future on my shoulders. But you see what I do not see. You see the private struggles, the unspoken stress, the weariness behind someone's tone.
The hurt that keeps showing up as anger. The fear that keeps disguising itself as distance. So Lord, cover my family today. Be near to the one who is tired and not saying much.
Be peace to the one whose mind has been restless. Be strength to the one who feels stretched thin. Be healing where there has been pain for too long, and where there is tension, bring softness. Where there is misunderstanding, bring patience. Where there is pressure in the home, bring a calmer spirit. Not a perfect family, but a held one, a guided one. A home where your presence slowly changes the atmosphere. Let love become gentler here. Let listening become easier here. Let grace return to places where people have grown tired of defending themselves. Sometimes protection is not only about danger outside the door, sometimes it is about what enters the heart unnoticed. So guard my family from the kind of weight that slowly drains joy, trust, and peace. And teach us how to move toward one another again with honesty, wisdom, and mercy. Lord, I also bring my finances to you, because money pressure has a way of following people quietly. It can sit in the background of an ordinary day and still affect everything. A bill on the screen, a number in the bank account.
A cost you did not expect. A responsibility that keeps growing. A private calculation you keep doing in your mind even while trying to act normal. And sometimes the hardest part is not only the lack.
It is the mental weight of always thinking ahead, always adjusting, always wondering if it will be enough. That kind of pressure can make a person feel tired before the day has even really started. So I bring that heaviness to you now, not with shame, not pretending I should be above it, but honestly, you know what I need. You know the responsibilities I carry. You know what feels urgent, what feels delayed.
And what has been wearing on my mind for longer than I admit. And maybe provision is not always immediate abundance. Maybe sometimes it begins with steadiness, clear thinking, open doors at the right time.
Enough wisdom for the next decision, enough peace not to collapse under the pressure. So Lord, provide what is needed for today. Provide wisdom where I need to make choices carefully. Provide restraint where I need discipline. Provide opportunity where doors have felt closed. Provide help where I have been trying to manage alone. Protect me from panic. Protect me from comparison. Protect me from the fear that says I am already too late. Lack is loud, but it is not Lord over me. Teach me to live with trust, even while I am still waiting. Teach me to be responsible without becoming consumed. Teach me to be faithful in what is in front of me,
without letting money become the measure of my peace. I do not need to know how everything will work out today, but I do need your wisdom for the next step, and that is what I ask for.
Not just more, but enough. Enough clarity, enough grace, enough provision for this season, enough peace to keep my heart steady while I move forward. So I place my needs before you, not in fear, but in trust. You know how to care for me better than I know how to worry for myself, and I rest in that. Lord, I place my work before you today, the part of life that takes so much of my time, so much of my energy, and sometimes more of my heart than I realize. You know the pressure tied to it, the deadlines, the expectations, the conversations I keep replaying, the things I need to finish, the things I'm behind on, the quiet fear of not doing enough or not being enough or not knowing what comes next.
Some people walk into work already tired. Not because they are lazy, but because they have been carrying responsibility for too long without much room to breathe. And sometimes the stress is not dramatic, it is steady.
An inbox that keeps filling. A task list that never really ends. A decision that affects more than just one day. A job that pays the bills but leaves the soul worn thin. So Lord, meet me there.
Not only in the big goals, but in the ordinary hours, in the emails, in the meetings, in the small choices that shape my day, in the moments when I feel overlooked, in the moments when I feel stretched, in the moments when I start to lose perspective. Because maybe work is not only where I prove myself, maybe it is also where I learn how to remain steady. Teach me how to move through this day, without letting pressure become my master. Give me focus where my mind feels scattered. Give me wisdom where I need clarity. Give me patience where people are difficult. Give me humility where I need to listen.
Give me courage where I need to speak. Let me work with peace, not panic. Let me work with integrity, not fear. Let me work with presence, not constant inner rushing. And if I am in a season of uncertainty,
wondering about direction, opportunity, or what is next, hold me steady there too, because not knowing the full path does not mean I am without guidance. I do not need to force open every door. I do not need to carry tomorrow before it comes. I do not need to prove my worth by exhausting myself. I just need grace for today, wisdom for today, strength for today. That is enough, Lord.
There is also the part of this day that cannot be explained by schedules and tasks alone. The inner battle, the invisible one. The battle in the mind when discouragement shows up for no clear reason.
The heaviness that settles in before anything has even happened. The sudden wave of doubt. The temptation to shut down. The urge to give up quietly, not all at once, but little by little. Sometimes spiritual battles do not look dramatic. Sometimes they look like exhaustion that turns everything dark, irritation that keeps rising, hope wearing thin, the loss of motivation, the feeling that something inside is being pressed from every side.
And maybe the battle is not always about destruction in one moment. Maybe sometimes it is about erosion, a slow wearing down of faith, peace, clarity, and trust. So Lord, I bring that to you honestly.
I do not want to ignore what is happening inside me, and I do not want to fight it in my own strength. Be my defense today. When lies try to sound reasonable, bring me back to truth.
When discouragement tries to settle in, interrupt it. When fear tries to dress itself up as wisdom, help me notice the difference. When I feel spiritually tired, not rebellious, just tired, meet me there with mercy. Because I do not need shame in that moment. I need help. Remind me that every thought does not deserve agreement, every feeling does not deserve authority, every dark moment does not tell the truth about my life.
What presses on me is not greater than the one who holds me. So I ask for protection over my inner life. Protect my mind from lies that repeat until they feel familiar.
Protect my heart from becoming cold, defensive, or numb.
Protect my peace from being stolen by things I was never meant to carry alone. Teach me how to stand, not in noise, not in striving, but in quiet confidence. The kind that does not deny the battle, but also does not bow to it. I will not fight for peace by becoming more frantic. I will receive peace by coming back to you. Be my covering today.
Be my discernment. Be my steadiness. And when I feel weak, remind me that weakness is not the end of the story. It may be the place where I lean on you more honestly than before. So I do not move into this day unguarded. I do not move into it alone. I do not move into it at the mercy of every fear, every mood, every thought. I move through this day with you, and that changes the battle.
Lord, beneath everything I have asked for so far, there is something deeper in me. Not another solution, not another answer, but a quieter desire I do not always know how to say. Because if I am honest,
I can spend a whole day trying to manage life and still feel disconnected inside. I can get through responsibilities, check off tasks, respond to people, and still carry a sense that something important is missing.
not because I failed the day, but because I moved through it without really being with you. And maybe that is what my soul is actually longing for. Not more control, not more clarity all at once, but more of your presence in the middle of ordinary life. So today, I ask for that. Not a dramatic moment, not something intense or overwhelming, but a steady awareness that you are near, even in the simple parts of my day. When I am working, when I am driving, when I'm thinking quietly, when I'm not sure what to say next. Help me notice you there, because maybe closeness with you
Is not found in perfect conditions. Maybe it grows in small moments when I choose to turn my attention back again and again. I do not want to live distracted from you while trying to build everything else. I want to know you more clearly. Not just in words, but in the way I live, the way I respond, the way I carry myself when things are uncertain. So remove what pulls my heart away without me noticing. The habits that keep me busy but not grounded, the thoughts that keep me occupied but not at peace, the patterns that slowly shift my focus away from what matters most. I do not need to chase everything. I just need to stay close. That is enough. Holy Spirit, walk with me through this day, because there are moments ahead I cannot prepare for. Conversations I have not had yet. Decisions I have not faced yet.
feelings I have not experienced yet. And sometimes what makes a day difficult is not what happens, but how unprepared I feel inside when it happens. So guide me gently. Not by rushing me, but by steadying me. When I feel unsure, give me clarity for the next step. Not the whole plan, just the next step. When I feel pressure rising, slow me down enough to respond instead of react. When I feel tired in the middle of the day, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, renew me in a way that actually reaches that place. Because sometimes rest is not sleep, it is being held together again on the inside. When I feel alone, remind me quietly that I am not navigating this day by myself. Not with loud signs, but with a steady knowing that I can return to you at any moment. You are my help.
In ways I do not always recognize right away. You are my comfort when I do not even have the words to explain what I feel.
You are my guide when I do not trust my own instincts. So I will not try to force my way through today. I will walk with you, step by step, moment by moment, decision by decision. I do not need to carry the whole day at once.
I just need to stay connected as I move through it. And that changes everything.
Before we continue, I want to pause here for a moment, because I have a sense that someone listening right now is not just following along quietly, you are carrying something specific. Not everything. Just one thing.
That keeps coming back into your mind no matter how much you try to push it aside. It could be something practical, a bill, a decision, a responsibility you are not ready for, or something more personal.
A relationship that feels strained. A conversation you keep avoiding. A part of your life that feels like it is slowly slipping out of your control. And the difficult part is not always the situation itself. Sometimes it is how alone it feels when you carry it quietly. Because from the outside, everything can still look normal. You go through your routine, you respond when people talk to you, you keep things moving. But inside,
there is a weight that does not fully lift, and maybe what makes it heavier is that you have not said it out loud. So right here, in this simple moment, I want to invite you to do something small, but honest. If you feel ready, you can write this in the comments.
God, I trust you with, and then finish that sentence in your own words, not because typing it will instantly change everything, but because sometimes the shift begins when we stop holding everything inside. Maybe what you need today is not a perfect solution yet. Maybe what you need first is a place to release the weight, to name it, to acknowledge it, to stop pretending it is not affecting you. You do not have to explain it fully. You do not have to make it sound right. Just be honest, because when you put it into words,
Even something simple, you are not just reacting to your situation anymore. You are choosing to trust in the middle of it, and that is different. You are not saying, I understand everything. You are saying, I am not carrying this alone. And sometimes that is the first real step forward. So take a moment. Whatever has been sitting on your mind, whatever has been tightening your chest, whatever has been following you into this morning, bring it into the light. Not to solve it, but to release it. You do not need to carry it silently anymore, and you do not need to carry it by yourself. Lord, there are places in my life that feel stuck. Not completely broken, but not moving either. Things I have been waiting on. Prayers I have repeated more than once. Situations that seem to stay the same,
no matter how much I think about them. And sometimes the hardest part is not the delay itself. It is the feeling that nothing is changing. But maybe breakthrough is not always a sudden moment. Maybe sometimes it begins quietly.
A shift in how I see things. A steadiness I did not have before. A door opening that I did not force. So today, I do not demand a perfect outcome, but I do ask for movement.
Even if it is small, even if it is slow, I just need to know that I am not standing still, and that is enough. Lord, waiting is something I do not always handle well.
Because waiting can feel like being left behind. Like everyone else is moving forward while I am standing in the same place. It can feel like silence, like unanswered questions, like trying to stay hopeful without seeing anything change yet. But maybe waiting is not where things stop. Maybe it is where something is being prepared that I cannot yet see. So teach me how to wait differently. Not with tension in my chest, not with constant worry, but with a quieter trust. I do not need to rush ahead just to feel in control. I can wait without losing my peace, because delay is not the same as abandonment, and I hold on to that. Lord, I also bring my body before you, because sometimes the tiredness is not just emotional. It is physical, a kind of fatigue that follows me through the day, a tension I carry in my shoulders, a heaviness that even rest does not fully fix, and sometimes I ignore it, push through it, tell myself I will deal with it later, but my body keeps reminding me that I am not limitless.
So today, I ask for healing, not only the kind that changes everything overnight, but the kind that restores me little by little, strength where I feel weak, relief where I feel pressure, energy where I feel drained, and wisdom.
To listen to my body instead of constantly overriding it, because taking care of myself is not a distraction from life. It is part of how I live it well. Lord, I bring my relationships to you.
The ones that feel easy and the ones that feel complicated. Because sometimes the deepest stress does not come from what I do but from who I am connected to. A conversation that did not go well.
Words that were said too quickly. Distance that keeps growing without a clear reason. And sometimes I do not know whether to speak, to wait, or to step back. But maybe not every relationship
needs to be fixed all at once. Maybe some just need space to breathe again. So teach me how to show up with more patience, less reaction, more understanding. Help me not to assume the worst when I feel hurt.
Help me not to close off just to protect myself. And where something is broken, begin to restore it, not through pressure, but through time, truth, and grace. Because not everything heals quickly.
But that does not mean it will stay this way. Lord, as I move into this day, I also ask for your guidance in the moments I cannot predict. The conversations I did not plan, the people I will meet, the decisions that will come unexpectedly, because sometimes one small moment can change the direction of a day. So align my steps. Let me be in the right place at the right time, not by chance, but by your quiet leading. Give me awareness so I do not rush past what matters. Give me sensitivity so I notice when something is important. Give me wisdom so I respond well in the moment.
I do not need to control every outcome. I just need to stay present enough to follow where you are leading. And that is enough for today.
Lord, there are moments when I quietly hope something will change faster than it has. Not everything, just one area,
one situation that has been heavy for too long, because when something stretches on,
It starts to wear down more than just patience. It wears down expectation. You stop asking boldly. You stop believing fully. You begin to adjust to things staying the same, but maybe change.
does not always come the way I expect it. Maybe it is not always loud or immediate, but that does not mean it is not coming. So today, I stay open to movement.
Open to answers that look different than I imagined. Open to the possibility that something can shift even if I do not see it yet. I do not need to force it. I just need to remain ready for it.
And that is enough.
Lord, sometimes I feel like I have to earn everything. Approval, opportunities, recognition. Like if I do not push hard enough, nothing will come my way. And that pressure builds quietly.
It shows up in overworking, in comparing myself, in trying to prove something I cannot even fully explain. But maybe not everything in my life is meant to come from striving. Maybe some things come from favor.
Not because I deserve more, but because you are kind in ways I cannot measure. So help me receive, not lazily, not passively, but without the constant need to prove my worth. Open the right doors, close the wrong ones.
And give me peace even when I do not understand why something did or did not happen. I do not need every opportunity. I need the right ones. And you know the difference. Lord, protect my mind today.
Because this is where everything seems to begin. A single thought can shape the direction of my whole day, and not every thought that enters is true. Not every thought is helpful.
Some repeat old fears, some exaggerate problems,
Some quietly tell me I am not enough, or that something is already going wrong. And if I do not notice it, I start to believe it. So help me slow that down, not by fighting every thought,
But by becoming aware of what I am agreeing with, give me clarity, so I can recognize what is real and what is only fear speaking loudly. My mind does not have to be a place of pressure.
it can become a place of steadiness, one thought at a time. Lord, I speak peace over my home, not a perfect atmosphere, but a calmer one. Because sometimes home is not loud conflict. Sometimes it is quiet tension, short answers, unspoken frustration, people being physically present but emotionally distant, and that kind of atmosphere can slowly wear on everyone. So bring a different tone into this space. Soften the edges of conversations. Slow down reactions. Make room for understanding again. Help me contribute to peace instead of waiting for someone else to change first, because maybe peace in the home does not begin with everyone at once. Maybe it begins with one person choosing to respond differently. So let that begin with me. Lord, as I continue through my work today, I ask for your blessing over what I do. Because sometimes I move through tasks without seeing the bigger picture. It feels repetitive, unnoticed. Just another thing to get through. And it is easy to disconnect from meaning when everything feels routine. But maybe this day is not insignificant. Maybe even small tasks can carry purpose when they are done with care. So give me a sense of direction even in ordinary work. Let me do what is in front of me with focus and quiet excellence, not for attention, but because how I show up still matters. And when I feel unseen, remind me that not everything meaningful is immediately visible. That is enough to keep going. Lord, I bring my finances back to you again. Not with panic, but with honesty. Because this area of life can quietly affect everything else. How I think, how I plan, how I rest, how I feel about the future. And sometimes I carry that weight.
Longer than I admit. But I do not want to live in constant tension over provision. So teach me balance, wisdom in how I handle what I have, patience when things are still growing.
Discipline where I need to be careful, and trust where I tend to overthink. Because increase is not only about having more. Maybe it is also about having enough and not losing peace in the process. So I ask for what I need. Not excess without purpose, but provision that sustains, supports, and allows me to move forward without fear. I will not measure my life only by numbers. I will measure it
By how steady my heart remains in the middle of it. And today, I choose steadiness. Lord, I ask for wisdom today. Not just information, not just quick answers, but the kind of clarity that helps me choose well when things are not obvious, because some decisions do not come with clear signs. They sit quietly in front of me. Two options. Both reasonable,
both uncertain. And sometimes what makes it difficult is not the decision itself, but the fear of choosing wrong, the fear of consequences I cannot undo.
The pressure of getting it right the first time. But maybe wisdom is not about predicting every outcome. Maybe it is about staying steady while I take the next step. So guide me, not by overwhelming me
with everything at once, but by giving me enough clarity for what is right in front of me. I do not need perfect certainty, I need a clear next step. And that is enough, Lord. I lift up my children, my family, the people entrusted to my care, because loving them comes with a quiet weight. You want the best for them. You worry about what you cannot control. You think about their future.
in moments when they are not even aware, and sometimes it feels like no matter how much you do, it is never quite enough. But maybe protection is not only about preventing every difficulty, maybe it is about covering them.
In ways I cannot see. So I place them in your hands again, not out of fear but out of trust. Watch over them in the places I cannot reach. Guide them in decisions I am not there to influence.
Strengthen them in ways I may never fully witness. And when I feel the urge to carry everything for them, remind me that they are not mine to control. They are yours to guide. So I release them, not from love, but from pressure. And I trust you with what I cannot hold. Lord, there are dreams in me that I do not always talk about, things I have hoped for, directions I have imagined,
Ideas that come and go when I allow myself to think quietly. But sometimes life feels too full to even consider them seriously. Responsibilities take over. Time feels limited. Doubt gets louder. And slowly, what once felt alive
starts to feel distant. But maybe those desires were not placed in me by accident. Maybe they are not something to rush into, but something to carry carefully until the right time. So I bring them to you, not demanding that they happen quickly, not forcing them into today, but not ignoring them either. Help me hold them with patience. Give me clarity on what is worth pursuing and what I need to release, because not every dream is meant to be chased. But the ones that matter will not disappear just because I move slowly. So I trust your timing with them. I do not need to rush.
I do not need to prove anything. What is meant for me will unfold in the right season.
Lord, there are also things that did not work out, doors that stayed closed, opportunities that passed, plans that changed direction, without warning. And sometimes I still think about them. What if it had gone differently? What if I had done something else? What if that was the chance I was supposed to take? It is easy to look back
and feel like something was lost. But maybe not every closed door is a missed opportunity. Maybe some are protection I did not recognize at the time. Maybe some delays are not setbacks, but space for something better to form.
So help me release what I keep replaying. I do not need to fully understand every no. I just need to trust that I am still being led forward, even when the path
does not look the way I expected. Closed does not mean finished, and delay does not mean forgotten. Lord, I come back again to what anchors me. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?
I may still feel uncertainty. I may still have questions. I may still be walking through things that are not resolved yet. But fear
is not where I stand, because light means I am not in darkness alone. Salvation means I am not left without help. Stronghold means I am not exposed the way I sometimes feel. So I return to this truth.
Not as a statement I repeat, but as a place I stand. I do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. I just need to remember who is holding me steady. And today, that is enough.
Lord, as I come to the end of this prayer, I do not feel like everything has changed. Some questions are still there. Some situations are still unresolved. Some feelings are still sitting quietly in the background.
But something is different. Not outside. Inside. There is a little more space to breathe, a little less pressure in my chest, a little more steadiness in how I see this day. And maybe that is where change begins, not with everything suddenly fixed, but with my heart no longer overwhelmed by everything at once. So I carry this moment with me, not as a temporary feeling, but as a reminder that I can return here again, to this place of pause, to this place of truth, to this place where I do not have to hold everything together alone. I will walk into this day differently, not perfectly, but more aware of what I am carrying, more aware of what I need to release, more aware that I am not moving through this day by myself, and that is enough. Before you go,
I want you to notice something honestly. What is the one thing that still feels a little heavy right now? Not everything, just one thing. Maybe it is still sitting there quietly. Maybe it did not disappear during this prayer.
And that is okay. Because you do not need to walk away feeling completely fixed to be moving forward. Sometimes the next step is simply choosing not to carry it the same way. If you feel comfortable,
You can write it in the comments like this. God, I'm trusting you with not as a performance, not because you have to, but because sometimes naming it is how you begin to release it.
you do not need perfect words, just honest ones. And if you read through the comments later, you might notice something. You are not the only one carrying something. You are not the only one trying to stay steady.
You are not the only one learning how to trust in the middle of uncertainty. And maybe that matters more than you think. If this prayer helped you slow down today, even just a little, you can stay connected here.
Not because you need more noise, but because sometimes you need a quiet place to return to before the day asks too much again. A place where you can pause.
A place where you can reset. A place where you can remember what is still true when everything else feels uncertain. So if this is something your heart needs right now, you are always welcome here. Come back tomorrow.
Come back when your mind feels crowded. Come back when you feel strong too, not just when you feel tired. You do not have to wait until things fall apart to return to God. You can come as you are, every day. May you move through this day with a steadier heart. May your thoughts feel a little clearer. May your reactions feel a little softer. May your steps feel a little more grounded. Not because life is easy, but because you are not carrying it alone. You are held, even in the middle of unfinished things. So go into this day gently. You do not need to rush. You do not need to prove. You do not need to fix everything. Just take the next step with God. And that is enough. Amen.